Good afternoon, and welcome to St. Martin in the Fields for our service of Great Sacred Music, which this week takes us back a few days to Easter Sunday. Without a doubt, the most important Christian festival of the year. Throughout Lent, the words Alleluia and Gloria are largely absent from the liturgy of Christian churches as we solemnly mark the period leading up to the crucifixion of Jesus. But in stark contrast, Easter is all about celebration. In the piece we've just heard, the hymn writer and Anglican priest George Ratcliffe Woodward perfectly sums up the Easter story and its message. Written in 1894 by Woodward in collaboration with Charles Wood, the hymn's enduring popularity is attested by the numerous choral arrangements that have been composed in subsequent years. Philip Ledger's, which we sang today, was written over 100 years after the hymn was first published. The refrain, repeated after every verse, iterates a thought-provoking counterfactual. Had Christ that once was slain ne'er burst his 3-day prison, our faith had been in vain. Before going on to declare, of course, but now hath Christ arisen. We have the benefit of hindsight when it comes to the Easter story. We know that Jesus rises again on the 3rd day, but momentarily, we are put into the shoes of those who lived through the very first Easter. In the days that followed his crucifixion, the disciples and his other followers were scared and confused. In John's Gospel, before Jesus appears to them, the disciples have locked the doors to the room that they are gathered in, afraid that the leaders who called for Jesus' death will in turn execute them too. The second 2 verses of the hymn put into context what Jesus' sacrifice really meant as a victory over death and hell, with the final verse looking towards Judgment Day where, according to various passages from the different books of the Bible, the dead shall be resurrected with the sound of trumpets. Now, it's our tradition at Great Sacred Music to begin by singing a hymn together, and you'll find the words on the inside of your service booklet. Jesus Christ is Risen Today was written by the famous hymn writer Charles Wesley. He lived an impressive life, and it's difficult to know what to mention first. That he was the youngest son out of 18 children, or that he earned the epithet the Bard of Methodism by writing no less than 6,500 hymns. Originally a 14th century Latin hymn titled Surrexit Christus Hodie, Wesley's adaptation and additional verses helped give the hymn a new life in the English-speaking world. His contributions, along with those of later editors, shaped the version we sing today, a bold, jubilant declaration of the resurrection, filled with repeated alleluias that invite joyful participation from all present. So, without further ado, please remain seated for our first hymn. I heartily encourage you to join in with the voices. Born around 1560, Felice Nero was a late Renaissance Italian composer. A native of Rome, he entered the prestigious Cappella Julia, the choir of St. Peter's Basilica, at the age of 8, where he sang for 9 years. Nero was later appointed as the Maestro di Cappella at the English College in Rome, and there had ample opportunity to refine his compositional voice, drawing upon the polyphonic traditions of his predecessors while developing his own expressive style. In 1594, Nero was appointed to succeed Palestrina as the official composer to the papal choir, a role that placed him at the very heart of Roman sacred music. This was the most prestigious position a composer could attain in Rome. His music continued in the tradition of Palestrina, favoring smooth melodic lines and clear text setting. We will now hear his Alleluia Christus Surrexit, which sets a passage from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. In it, Paul proclaims, "For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead." This powerful verse sets up the theological contrast between Adam, who through disobedience brought death into the world, and Christ, the new Adam, whose resurrection brings life. Nero's setting of this text captures the joy and theological significance of Easter morning. Following this, The voices will sing Simon Lindley's evocative arrangement of Now the Green Blade Riseth, set to the traditional French carol tune Noël Nouvelet. The text, penned by Anglican priest and hymn writer John MacLeod Campbell Crum, first appeared in the 1928 edition of the Oxford Book of Carols. The hymn interweaves two metaphors presenting Jesus as both love personified and a buried grain of wheat. The metaphor of Christ as a seed echoes his own words in John's Gospel, spoken on Palm Sunday before his Passion. The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Very truly, I tell you, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. The imagery of life emerging from death, which is so central to the Christian understanding of Easter, is tenderly conveyed in Lindley's choral setting, which balances simplicity with emotional depth. So first we will hear Anerio's Alleluia, Christus Surrexit, and then after that, Lindley's Now the Green Blade Riseth.
Christus,
Born in 1818 in Dublin, Cecil Frances Alexander began writing poetry in her school journals at a young age. By the 1840s, she had already gained recognition as a hymn writer, admired for her ability to express complex theological ideas with clarity. Her gift for communicating the Christian message in simple yet profound language has ensured that her most enduring hymns, All Things Bright and Beautiful, There Is a Green Hill Far Away, and Once in Royal David City, remain staples of both church services and school assemblies. These hymns were first brought together in her influential 1848 collection, Hymns for Little Children, which was designed to introduce young readers to the essential truths of the Christian faith through accessible and memorable verse. He Is Risen, one of her lesser-known works, is composed in lyrical rhyming couplets, making it easy to learn and sing. The hymn captures the joy and wonder of Easter morning, proclaiming the resurrection of Christ in terms that resonate with both children and adults. Like much of Alexander's work, it balances doctrinal integrity with emotional immediacy, offering a heartfelt response to the central mystery of the Christian faith. Her legacy endures not just in the popularity of her hymns, but in the way they continue to shape how generations understand and celebrate the key moments of the Christian story. Through her gentle, poetic voice, Alexander invites us all to see, with childlike faith, the beauty, sacrifice, and triumph at the heart of Easter. Her text is here set to music by Percy Whitlock, an English organist and composer who studied at the Royal College of Music under the tutelage of Charles Villiers Stanford and Ray Vaughan Williams. He sadly died at the age of 42, and his musical output was forgotten in the decades that followed. However, since the Percy Whitlock Trust was founded in 1983, there has been a renewed interest in his compositions. We now invite you to listen to He Is Risen. Thine Be the Glory was written by Swiss Protestant minister Edmund Boudry in the late 19th century and translated into English by Richard Birch Hoyle. It has since become one of the most iconic Easter hymns in the Christian tradition. Its powerful text is set to the triumphant tune Maccabeus by George Frederick Handel. Originally composed for his oratorio Joshua, which was first performed in 1747, the tune originates from a chorus celebrating the military successes of the biblical hero. Handel was so taken with the strength and grandeur of the melody that he added it into Judas Maccabeus, an oratorio that he'd written the previous year, telling a friend that, "You will live to see it a greater favorite with the people than my other fine things." This robust, march-like tune was first used as a hymn setting in 1754 for Charles Wesley's Jesus Christ is Risen Today, incidentally, the very hymn we sang earlier. Its bold, triumphant character makes it especially fitting for Easter, reinforcing the idea of the resurrected Christ as a victorious king, having triumphed over death and the grave. Boudry's text opens with a vivid retelling of Easter morning, the angels rolling away the stone, the folded grave clothes left behind, both clear signs of Christ's resurrection. The second verse becomes more introspective, turning from narrative to personal response. The line, "No more we doubt thee, glorious Prince of Life," may well allude to the Apostle Thomas, also known as Doubting Thomas, who demanded to see and touch the risen Christ before he could believe. In referencing this moment, Boudry gently acknowledges our human tendency to doubt, inviting us to consider our own struggles with doubt and belief, and to draw strength from Christ's unwavering love. Handel's confidence in the tune's lasting appeal has proved true. Maccabeus has transcended its original oratorio setting to become a beloved part of Easter worship around the world. Thine Be the Glory is also a favorite beyond church walls, famously featured in the last night of the proms at the Royal Albert Hall. So now, please remain seated while the voices stand to lead Thine Be the Glory. Thank you so much for joining us for Great Sacred Music today, as we've explored pieces written to celebrate Easter. On your way out, there is an opportunity for you to donate and help us to keep developing our music program at St. Martin's. If you haven't got cash, you can find other ways to give listed on the back of your service sheet. Now that the season of Lent has ended, our next installment of Great Sacred Music next week will focus on rejoicing, and we hope to see you there. At Choral Classics this Sunday, the 27th of April, the Voices will be exploring the songs of Shakespeare. It's worth noting that this service is in person only and will not be live streamed. And lastly, In Every Corner Sings resumes on the 12th of May as our choral scholars come back from their well-deserved Easter break. Our final piece today takes its text from the Exultet, which scholars have theorized could have been composed as early as the 5th century. It is traditionally sung at the Easter Vigil in front of the Paschal candle, as the culmination of the service of light. Beginning outside in darkness, a fire is blessed and used to light the Paschal candle. A solemn procession then enters the church, with individuals lighting their own candles from this central flame, symbolizing the spread of Christ's light. Services of light were much more commonplace in the Middle Ages, when candles were precious and their glow brought security and reassurance in a world without electricity. This symbolism of light, pushing back darkness, is a powerful image of Christ's resurrection, reminding worshippers of his own words, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." The Exultet echoes this hope and triumph, proclaiming, "Sing, choir of earth, behold your light has come. The glory of the Lord shines radiantly." Its poetic and cosmic vision calls on all creation to rejoice. Richard Shepherd composed the Easter Song of Praise in 1988 while headmaster of York Minster School. His deep roots in the English choral tradition, namely his early experiences as a chorister at Gloucester Cathedral under Herbert Sumption, and his time as a lay clerk at Salisbury Cathedral, both deeply shaped his compositional voice. Shepherd's setting of the Exultet is a fitting modern continuation of the ancient tradition. Thank you again for joining us.
Sing, church of